Welcome to Moxie Bets presented by Caesars Sportsbook. I'm your host, Katie Mox. Coming up on today's show, we have a very special guest on our show today. Cousin Sal joins us. You know him from Jimmy Kimmel and the Extra Points Podcast Network. We could not be more excited to have him on the show today. We got Thursday Night Football is on deck between the Bills and the Pats. We'll go through some prop bets and some picks for you. And of course, Mox Locks. So without further ado, let's welcome in our guest, comedian, writer, prankster, and the co-founder of the Extra Points Podcast Network and Degen extraordinaire, Cousin Sal. Sal, thanks for joining us.
What's happening, Katie? I'm excited to be here. Don't let my schlubby appearance fool you. You got all dressed up. I'm wearing a t-shirt. I have a nice new blazer. I could change, and I got it for Thanksgiving. I insist on gifts from the kids on Thanksgiving because they get theirs on Christmas. But or if you could just stare at me like this, whatever.
I like you just as you are, Sal, but
Okay.
I do like this forcing the children to give you gifts on Thanksgiving. That's something, thankfully, my parents never did to me, but I might implement that moving forward.
Absolutely. It's a wise move. I highly recommend it.
Okay. Well, let's start with Mox Thought. The USA defeated Iran 1-0 yesterday to move to the knockout round for the first time in 8 years. Team USA didn't make the cut to compete in last year's World Cup. They were forced to watch from home. Pulisic had the only goal, but it looked like he got knocked on the balls pretty hard by the Iranian goalie there. He tweeted out later that he was fine, ready to go on Saturday. Just an American hero. Next up, the US men's team will face the Netherlands on Saturday. Sal, you would think by the way that I've been carrying on that I am a soccer fan. I mean, I was late to work yesterday because I was watching the game head to toe in Americana, spontaneous USA chants in my living room. However, I'm a total fraud. I know nothing about soccer, just a big Team USA gal. What do you think of the U.S. tournament or how they're doing in the tournament so far? And how do you expect them to go to do moving forward?
First of all, I appreciate you admitting that you're a fraud because there's millions like you, including myself. But, and then after they lose to the Netherlands, spoiler alert, on Saturday, they won't speak of soccer again for 4 years. But yes, I do appreciate everyone that pretends to be an expert on soccer and this and that and purist and this. But I will say you're right about Pulisic as an American hero. He basically gave up having children for that 1-0 win over Iran. I mean, really, I don't know that his sperm is going to work anytime in the future, which I still think it's worth it because we get to advance. He won't, like me, receive gifts from his children on Thanksgiving, but that's something he's going to have to live with. He'll probably have enough endorsement deals to handle that. But anyway, what were we talking about? Yeah, I'm afraid it's that was the end of the road there for I think the Netherlands. They don't play an attack style. See, now I'm going to pretend to sound like an expert. From what I've read, though, is all I've read is they kind of fall into the US's trap of they're not a high functioning team. You're not gonna be fast breaks ahead, but I do think they end up winning 1-0 over the banged up US team.
Well, I will say a lot of people thought that, we didn't stand a chance against England as well, and we kind of held our own there. So I will still chant USA multiple times in my living room and dress in head to toe Americana. But you're right. If they lose to the Netherlands or when they lose to the Netherlands, I will not be watching the World Cup anymore and certainly won't care about what's happening in U.S. soccer. That's for sure.
There you go. Well, I'm proud of you for admitting what everyone else should.
Yes, exactly. I'm actually surprised at how into it I am. But I also just think when it's your country, you're excited about it. The boys in the red, white, and blue. You just gotta put all of your spirit into it. And I will say, I believe that Caesars tweeted out that it was the most handle they ever took in was bet on Team USA yesterday, money line. And of course, USA won. So it was a big win for the team and also for the betting public right here in America. We always love to see that.
Yeah, and I think I saw the same thing as you did. 93% of those betting on the game backed the U.S. And so I think Caesars is done. I'm not even sure who the sponsor is anymore, but I'm pretty sure the sportsbook just folded. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they still have money to sponsor this podcast because they lost to Mattress Mac. He had the biggest ever, and then they just lost to America. So please keep sponsoring us here.
Exactly.
Moxie Bets is presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook, the greatest sports betting app of all time. Download it. Must be 21 or older. Welcoming back in our guest, the one, the only Cousin Sal, for a segment that we like to call the Lucky Seven. Now, Sal, I'm going to ask you 7 questions. Each question, you have 3 options to choose from. If you don't like the options, you will have a wild card at your disposal that you can throw out instead, whatever you want. It could be like a mail-in vote. However, you can only use it once. You use it, it's gone. So make sure that you use it wisely. Are you ready? Oh,
I am ready. I heard that Jeff Saturday was offered the wild card but didn't use it, and so he regrets that now. But yes, I will for sure be using mine.
Okay, good. At least you're aware of it ahead of time. Okay, first up, let's start with baseball. We know that you are a long-suffering Mets fan, and Jacob Degrom's future remains unknown as he continues to test the waters of free agency. If you had to choose Degrom's next team from the below options, who would it be? The Yankees, keep him here in New York, Phillies, or the Braves?
Oh, man, this is terrible. I think I'm going to use my wild card right off the bat because I can't go with the 2 division foes. I can't have the Braves. I mean, the Braves and Phillies mean we meet him probably 4 times a year, and the Yankees are my most hated franchise in all of sports. So I'm gonna use my wild card and say the Brewers or something like that, someone I don't really care about.
The Brew Crew? All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Although I will say I love Jacob Degrom. I don't think we did right by him. You know, we never ever hit for him. He's going to be 35 years old. He should have over 200 wins. I think he has like 70 or something. So I do wish him well if he moves on, and it's probably best for him, especially since there's a DH now in the National League, and he can't even help his own cause and hit for us. So, but no, Phillies, Yankees, Braves, no good.
How did you feel this year? Because there was a lot of excitement. I live in New York City. A lot of excitement about the Mets this year. A lot of this is our year. A lot of talk, and I was excited about it too, about possibly a Subway Series for the World Series, and then it just fell apart.
Yeah, I mean, I love the season. Here on the West Coast, we can catch most of the games like at 4:30, so it's nice. And the kids come home from school, and that's it. We're just watching the whole time, and we had everything. Really, we had an owner who cared. Right, we had. We have obviously DeGrom and Scherzer was fun. We had a fat guy like myself and Vogelbach. We had so much going on with the team. We had a winning streak. Nobody was going to touch us. We had over 100 wins. We tied with the Braves and then just blew it. And, I don't blame the playoff format. Yeah, I feel like the best teams should win, even if it comes down to a weekend series.
No, I agree with you there. All right, now on to football. If you had to go full chalk on a Super Bowl pick, who would it be? Would you take the Chiefs plus 400? They're the favorite. Bills plus 450 or the Eagles plus 550?
All right, this is a good question. I think I'm going to go Chiefs. I think the 3 teams you mentioned will be there in the Final Four come late January. But I still trust the Chiefs, even if that game is in Buffalo, over Josh Allen and the Bills, who right now, we're talking at the end of November. They have not really played a complete game in, I feel like, a month. And the Chiefs, we discuss things through the lens of gambling. They have trouble covering at home. And, sometimes it looks like they take their foot off the gas. But Patrick Mahomes is still a number 1 in my book. And I think he has something to prove this year if they are to get that far. So I do like that Chiefs number.
I would agree with you on the Chiefs there too. I mean, I have a ticket on the Bills that I took in the beginning of the year, and I'm still a Bills believer. But like you said, Patrick Mahomes has just been putting on an MVP caliber season, and they haven't really missed a beat without Tyreek Hill. So I like that. Okay, this one's actually a funny one, and maybe you're going to wish that you had your wild card. There's a lot of controversy in the NFL, specifically around quarterbacks with the last name Wilson. If you had to choose from the following Wilsons to be your quarterback right now, who would you pick? Would it be Heine's Let's Ride Russell Wilson? It's Not My Fault, Defenses Love Me, and So Does Your Mom, Zach Wilson? Or the volleyball Wilson from Castaway?
Wow, that is really good. You know what? Yeah, maybe Rita Wilson, who is Tom Hanks' wife. Ooh. But yeah, I don't even have my wild card anymore, which ties into the volleyball. Wilson Phillips is also a good option there. You know what? I'm passing on Russ. I actually was one of the few, I think, that thought he would not this poorly of a season. I'll pass on Zach. I don't really, honestly, I wouldn't want either of those, even in a pickup football game on Thanksgiving, to be my all-time quarterback. So let's go Wilson, the volleyball. At least, it's not going to say anything stupid in the post-game press conference.
Exactly. And I will say that he is very loyal to his team, which of course was
Mm-hmm.
Tom Hanks in the movie, where I feel like both Russell Wilson and Zach Wilson are kind of on an island, like Castaway, of their
Yeah.
own. And it's just not working out. If I had to
And
choose,
waterproof. Sorry, it traveled thousands of
yes.
miles in the ocean, so I don't worry about a downpour or rain. I think it could handle itself in those circumstances.
Yeah, I'll agree with you and I'll go Castaway as well. But if I had to choose between the two quarterbacks,
Mm-hmm.
oof. I would probably go Russell Wilson just because at least he had a career. Zach Wilson's not even a starter anymore. Zach Wilson's career might actually be over. There's hints of let Russ cook still happening with Russell Wilson, but yeah, no, I don't envy that one. All right,
Yeah,
next question.
unfortunately, you don't get fantasy points for doing high knees on the airplane, but maybe they'll change that. Maybe you could be in a league. You'll find a league where that is acceptable.
Yeah, the over under on how many times he goes up and down the aisle on the flight to wherever they're going,
Right.
London, I believe it was. Okay,
Yep.
next question. It's bad enough that you're a Mets fan, but you're also a Cowboys fan. Apparently, you don't like joy, Sal. They call it Jerry's World, but today it's going to be Sally's World. You get to play the Cowboys Overlord for one day, but you have to cut one of the following players. Who's getting the axe? Is it Dak Prescott,
Oh.
Micah Parsons, or CeeDee Lamb?
Well, so the team exists right there. They got to start off from there. It's not like I can go out and get a free agent quarterback or I can get CJ Stroud or anything like that, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Dak, CD, or Micah Parsons. Well, Micah stays. He's the defensive player of the year. He's the reason we have as many wins as we do, and he has to stay. Oh man! So now you're asking me if we could win with Cooper Rush at quarterback or without CD Lamb. I know. Why do you have to make these so hard? And then,
Well, I don't know why you used your wild card right off the
I
bat.
know you're right. I could have
Risky.
cut the punter or something. Yeah, I'm gonna risk it without CD Lamb. I mean, I just feel like with the defense as good as it is, we have the nice 1-2 with Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. We're not going to win a Super Bowl probably without CD Lamb. Also, Odell Beckham Jr. If he can land, and get through security and, conscious, I think maybe we could pick it up there. I think I have to cut CD Lamb. I love him, but I think he's got to go.
The thing with OBJ, since you bring it up, it's like there's a lot of people who will take a Xanax on a plane to sleep or for anxiety or whatever. Just own it. Own it that you took something, or maybe you were a little bit sauced up and you couldn't wake up and you got kicked off. For you to say that the flight attendant was unruly, or what did he say, an overzealous flight attendant, and that everything was it's like they would have had to tried really hard to wake you up before they got you escorted off of the plane.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. You're right. The behavior on planes in general for athletes and football players, we have to find a happy medium somewhere between high knees and being passed out and belligerent to the flight attendants. Yeah.
Yes, and then you've got Andy Reid drawing on players' mouths, apparently.
Exactly.
Okay, so on our next question, let's go back in time before you had to worry about the new Call of Duty and what that release would do, how it would affect your quarterback's performance, or before players even use social media to demand trades and wipe everything of the team. Yes, I'm taking shots at Kyler Murray here. But if you had to choose one quarterback from the early to mid 2000s to build your team around, who would you pick? Is it going to be the GOAT, Tom Brady? Is it going to be Mr. November, Tony Romo, who I know you probably like, or our boss, the great Peyton Manning?
Oh man. Well, here's the thing. Like, our boss is also Eli Manning, right? And I think Cooper's in there somewhere too. I got to go Tony Romo. There's a chance he's going to listen to this. I'm friendly with the PR, and number 9 has provided me with some of the great memories. He's also the most cursed quarterback I've ever witnessed. But
yeah, injury wise,
yeah, everything, as nifty, and just referees, things like that. Just everything that could be stacked against you seemed to go against him. But I loved watching him, and even if it doesn't amount to 6 Super Bowls or whatever Tom Brady has, 7 now, for crying out loud, I can't turn my back on number 9.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the safe pick here and pick our boss on that one. Peyton Manning, love you, thank you. Okay, so Sal, you know a thing or two about the pressure of throwing out a first pitch at a Major League Baseball game. You've done it yourself. The Mets have had some doozies. And you said, I watched a clip where you said that you do not trust people who can't throw a first pitch within 6 feet of the strike zone. So who has been the worst first pitch in Mets history? Is it 50 Cent, just a little bit outside? Is it Baba Booey, who thought he was maybe throwing to the umpire? Or was it you, who I have to say, you had an excellent post-pitch celebration?
Why would I pick me? Yeah, I'll set the stage a little bit. I was very excited about this, and I dressed in Jesse Orosco gear. I had a number 47 jersey. I was going to commemorate the 1986 World Series celebration, and I threw it 52 miles an hour. Somehow we figured it out. And I jumped into the catcher's arms. I did the celebration. Yeah, and nobody appreciated it because it was like 20 minutes before the game started. It was a Tuesday afternoon in July against the Pirates, and there were like 600 campers with their camp counselors who were way too young to understand the reference. So it wouldn't be me. I was outstanding, but I am going to go Baba Booey. I think Baba only because there was so much lead up to it. And I think he even sought out, advice from a sports psychologist. And for him to think about it so much and for it to go so poorly, that it will never be topped, regardless of the 50 cents or whatever mayor or whoever comes out to throw the first pitch. I think Bob is number one.
He consulted a sports psychologist. Why wouldn't you consult a pitcher to help you throw the ball? What is the psychologist going to do for you?
Exactly. I may have had that wrong. He might have seen the sports psychologist afterwards or something. I know he was getting a lot of psychology from the Howard Stern show, but just the fact that it meant so much to him and for him to throw it so poorly, that poor bastard has to live with it forever.
Oh, and then to go back on Howard Stern and just be trolled that week and probably for the rest of your life. All right. Next question. You're originally from Long Island. If you had an extra front row ticket to see Mr. Long Island himself, the piano man, Billy Joel at Madison Square Garden, which member of the Degenerate Trifecta would you bring? Would it be Parlay Kid, Brother Bree, or Harry?
Well, yeah, it's Brother Bry, but no, I think I like Brother Bree better. We may have to call him. It's one of my favorite
it depends. If you're not going to choose him, you might want to demote his name.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, now I can't take him because everyone's going to be screaming Brie at him. I can't take Harry for sure. He has no appreciation or musical. I mean, he would go see Daughtry 10 times before Billy Joel. It's funny you bring this up because I was looking at the concert schedule, and he's out here, Billy Joel, with Stevie Nicks out here in L.A., but otherwise he really is just staying put in New York. So I'm going to have to go out there to see. I've seen him plenty, but I definitely want to see him once or twice more. I'm going to take the Parlay Kid. The Parlay Kid and I grew up together. Bry's a little younger than me. Harry's musical taste is off the charts in a bad way. I think the Parlay Kid would appreciate it more than anybody.
The Parlay Kid would appreciate it. How many times have you seen Billy Joel?
I think I've seen him probably 5 or 6 times, and I got backstage to meet him, and it was quite an event. Yeah, for me.
That is quite an event. And you live in LA, correct? So have you seen him at the Hollywood Bowl?
It wasn't at the Hollywood Bowl. I think it was at the Greek. I'm not positive, but it wasn't the Hollywood Bowl. It was a smaller venue too. It was like I saw him at a big venue, and then I saw him. There was a Q&A where he just sat and played piano, and that I think was even better when he does stuff like that.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Have you seen him? Have you seen him in concert?
I haven't seen him. No, and it's so funny because I live close to Madison Square Garden. I worked at MSG Networks for a year last year. He probably came like once a month because I think he was making up for some COVID concerts that he missed, and I still haven't seen him. Although my parents are coming to visit me in January, and he will be here mid-January, so maybe I should take the parents.
Do it. Yeah, right? I mean, I don't know if they're a big fan. Yeah, do it. You say that's so funny. I think that's sad, actually. He's so close. He's arm's distance away, the piano man. And you haven't, you could actually probably play with him on the piano. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he wouldn't want that. He definitely wouldn't want that because I have no talent when it comes to musicality. Oh. But that's why I'm a degenerate and I just gamble on things.
There you go.
Time now for Capper's Corner. Let's preview Thursday night football between the Bills and the Pats. Bills on the money line minus 210, Pats plus 175. Spread is 4, favoring the Bills. Over under 43.5. Before we get into the game side, let's talk some props, a little bit kind of either or, over, under. So I know that you love to do your first touchdown scores. So here are the current odds. You got Ramondre Stevenson plus 410, Singletary plus 500, Diggs 525, Allen plus 650. It goes down from there. Who do you like for the first touchdown Thursday Night Football?
Is this one of those ABC? Do I have to use my wild card, or could I just I can get in there?
You pick whatever your heart desires.
Okay. Let's see. First touchdown. Okay. I did have something for this. I think Mac Jones takes off. Did you say his number in there?
I don't know what his number is. I have to. Yeah, it's got to be somewhere.
I bet it's about 15-1 or something. Yeah. I bet it's somewhere in there, like 15-1. So that's what I'm going to go with. I think first of all, I don't think there's going to be a ton of touchdowns. I think this is going to be a low scoring game. I'm sure we'll get to that. But I like Mac Jones. I like the quarterback to take off, and I think he gets the Foxborough crowd in a frenzy with the 7-0 lead early on.
That is wild. I'm gonna go the opposite on this one. I'm gonna take Josh Allen plus the 650. So the Bills have run 19% of their plays in the red zone since 2021. That's the best in the NFL. League average is about 14%. Allen has 5 rushing touchdowns so far this season. And if we remember last January, Allen threw for 5 touchdown passes against the Patriots to knock them out of the playoffs. You know that Billy B and his defense is going to be ready. I see like a 3rd and goal situation, no one to throw to, and then the big body Allen runs it into the end zone. So a little more chalky than your pick.
All right. Well, that's better analysis than I gave. But you can't go wrong picking. Well, yeah, you can go wrong if somebody else scores. I guess you can go wrong. But Josh Allen.
Yes, you can definitely go wrong. But plus 650, it's not terrible. But yeah, obviously Mac Jones is going to get you a lot more money, and I will be tweeting at you if that happens tomorrow. What about for like an anytime touchdown? Who do you think gets into the end zone just in general? I mean, obviously Ramondre Stevenson is the favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough because you get the odds are so tight on Stevenson and some of these other guys. But I'm going to go Hunter Henry plus 340, who scored twice. He really did score twice last week. They only counted 1, but he got over for a second touchdown. And I think Mac Jones is in sync with him. He has a half a dozen red zone targets this year. The Bills have allowed 37 out of 50 targets to tight ends. That's not in the red zone. That's just overall. So that's 74% passing to tight ends in general. So I'm going to go Hunter Henry to score a single touchdown at plus 340 anytime throughout the game.
I love this. And I got a prop bet on him later. So I like that. And I agree with you. Stevenson's odds suck. Damian Harris is questionable. Why not the 3rd stringer, Pierre Strong Jr.? There's no odds on him yet.
Ooh.
But we do know that the Bills are vulnerable against the run. The Bills have allowed 533 yards after catch since week 9. It's the 4th most in the NFL. So I think they're going to be running the ball. And why not the 3rd stringer? So I don't know what those odds are yet, but that would be my money pick on this one. That would be my Mac Jones, if you will.
Yeah, right, if that comes in, for crying out loud, that's huge. I mean, I think you'll probably get, for any time, you'll probably get between 15 and 20-1 for that.
Let's go. Okay, so now on to Josh Allen and his rushing yards. He has hit the over 60% of his games. The total right now is 44.5. The over is juiced to minus 119, under minus 115. You think Josh Allen gets over or under 44.5?
I think they finally set it at a number that's maybe too high, right? So I know, and like you said, it's 60%. He went over, but now if you think that he's going to be contained, and I think Bill Belichick does, he has this game circled on the calendar, and he will be prepared. Not like last Thursday's game. I don't think there's going to be an onslaught of offense against the Patriots in Foxborough. So for 44 yards, I think he would have to take off about 7 or 8 times to get to that average, to that number. So I'm going to go under 44.5.
Okay, I see that. I'm going over on this one. Allen has rushed 51 yards per game this season, which of course outpaces this total. It is harder on the road, certainly in Foxborough, but he has rushed 8+ times in every game on the road this season. He's hit this number in 2 straight games versus the Patriots. And again, I feel like since he threw for those 5 touchdown passes, the secondary is just going to be on absolute lockdown. Bill's not going to get embarrassed through the air again. So I just feel like it's going to force Allen to scramble more. So I'm going to go over on this one. So you like Mac Jones.
I mean, if Allen takes off for a 50-yard touchdown run in the first quarter, you get everything. You get the over, you get the first touchdown. You could turn the game off. You don't have to watch. You can take your parents to Billy Joel, and that's
and then I take my parents to Billy Joel with everything that I won, front row. Ask him if I can get a hit on the piano. I like that. Okay, so you like Mac Jones for the first touchdown score. What about his passing yards? 226 and a half, over minus 125, under minus 109.
So he's exploded lately. I'm all over the place in this game because I'm eventually going to take the Patriots here plus the points. But and he exploded there. We saw and there's a lot of Patriots fans out there belly aching that he's not the answer, even though he'll go like 22 for 27 against the Jets. He's a great game manager. He's been, and then like I said, he exploded last week, had a big offensive game. I don't see that again. I think it's going to be cold, 25-degree low in Foxborough tomorrow night. So I think it's going to be more ball control, ball management. He will connect on a long pass somewhere in there. That's one of my props that I like. But I do think in general, we're going to see Stevenson running the ball a lot. We're going to see in the 205, 215 range for Mac Jones passing.
Yep, I agree with you 100% for all the same reasons. I think they're going to be more of a ground and pound, running the ball a lot more. Okay, let's talk about Stephon Diggs. His receiving yards, 82 and a half, minus 117 for the over on this one. What do you think?
I'm going to go under here. Same kind of reason. I know he's probably done well against the Patriots in general, but I'm going to go on. I will say, I think you can get him at like plus 450 to have the most receiving yards. He's about 120 behind the leaders now. And, with no Cooper Kupp in the equation, he could certainly get up there. So in general, I think he can get there. I don't think this is the game where he does it. I'll go under.
I agree with you. So he's actually hit the over on his receiving yards prop 63% of the time, almost 64, 63.6 of the games that he's been in. But the last two games, he's hit below this mark. So 2 straight weeks of not even, I think he had 77 and something like 49, really low against, who was it? He had the Lions and the Vikings.
The Lions. Yeah, the Lions went to McKenzie, and then like the week before, it was Gabriel Davis, I think, or 2 weeks before, it was Gabriel Davis. They really do switch off. They do a nice job, Josh Allen does, not getting locked into one receiver. So I think that works against Diggs.
And I think it's going to happen again. And I do think that, the secondary for the Patriots is pretty good. They rank 9th right now in the NFL. And, they got Jonathan Jones back. He's getting back into the fold. And opposing quarterbacks have completed just 37% of their targets when Jones is in cover. Now, I know he did get torched last week by Jefferson, but yeah, I agree with you. We're going under on that one. All right, Hunter Henry, receiving yards, 24 and a half, over or under?
Well, that's my guy. I picked him to score. He had a long reception. I think he had like a 37-yard reception. So last week, I think he's in sync with Mac Jones. He's a good outlet, and I'm not going to go under there. So I'll go over, even though I'm going Mac Jones yardage under. I like Hunter Henry over.
I agree. I think the Bills are allowing 7 targets and 47 yards per game to opposing tight ends. That's the 5th most targets per game to tight ends. So if he can convert, because he got 10 targets in the last game. If he can convert a lot of those, I do feel like this number is pretty low. So I'm going to agree with you on that one. All right, the time has come now for Mox Locks. What you are taking to the window, Cousin Sal. Do you have a full side game bet? Oh yeah, you do. You're taking the Patriots.
Yeah, I'm taking it. By the way, Mox Locks, if everything goes south with the sports gambling, and I don't think it will, I predict big things for you, but it's really a perfect name for a Jewish delicatessen. Right there. I don't know. Where are you in Midtown Manhattan? Just do it. I'll back it. I'll give $35, $40, whatever you need to get it going.
Great, thank you.
So that's okay. So what are we doing? Yeah, I like my lock, you're saying, for the side. I like the Patriots. It's a must-win game. They play them last game of the year in Buffalo. I'm not sure that's going to matter to the Bills, but the Patriots need to keep pace with, believe it or not, the Jets and the Chargers and some of these other teams fighting for the 7th seed. And, Belichick didn't look as prepared after 3 days against the Vikings last Thursday night, but now he's had a full week. I get it. The Bills have also, but I think it's going to be a really tough for the Bills, who have not really played a complete game in about a month and whose defense looks pretty average without Von Miller, to be honest with you. So I think it's going to be 22-19, 21-20 right in there, slightly under, and give me the Patriots in Foxborough plus the points.
So I liked Patriots when it was 5.5, but now that it's been bet down to, I believe, 4 is the current line right now, I'm going to take the Bills on this one. So the Patriots defense has been getting it done, currently ranked 4th in total defense, 9th in pass defense. But who have they really faced Sal. Okay, they're 5 wins this season. Jacoby Brissett, Jared Goff, Sam Ellinger, and Zach Wilson twice. And Zach Wilson doesn't even have a job anymore. I feel like this Bills offense is so deadly that even during this wobbly stretch that they just had, Josh Allen and co were still able to put up around 30 points in their last 3 games. So I'm going to put my money on Josh Allen's ability to just kind of navigate whatever Belichick can throw at him. And I'm just not sure that Mac Jones has the firepower to keep up. So I'm going with the Bills on this one.
Well, why don't let's bet $5,000 against each other then?
Let's bet 5,000. Yeah, let's bet 5,000. Let's bet $5. Let's bet
$5.
Now
you're not. Oh, now you're not now you're not convinced. I see. No, I definitely see your side. But this is the problem with the NFL. We've seen both teams look really, really bad and play really well, football. Right? And this, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Thursday Night Football, anything can happen. I will say this is probably one of the most entertaining matchups that we're going to see that Amazon Prime has served us this year.
Yes, Al Michaels probably doesn't have to do as many shots to get through this game as he's been doing normally.
God for Al Michaels. Can you imagine watching these games without I mean, he's just hilarious, and all the things that he says are he just makes the game. Okay, so 2 more locks. Do you have prop bets that you like, or what are you looking at?
Yeah, well, I like Henry to score plus 340. I also like Mac Jones. Now, I've hit on this 4 night games in a row. I had Taylor Heineke. I had who played Monday? I already forget who played Monday. Who already won? So I had Taylor Heineke. I had a bunch of Tannehill. Had a bunch of quarterbacks to hit their longest completion over. I'm going to go Mac Jones over 33.5 longest completions. I think it's one. Whatever it's going to be. It might be Hunter Henry. He had 4 of these last Thursday night to hit over 33 yards. So I think he's going to get 1 this week. He's back in sync in a relatively low scoring game. I know I already said his yardage is going to be low in terms of under the 220 or 225, whatever you had it at. But there will be 1 pass where he connects that's over 33.5 yards.
Okay, I like that. And it was I just remembered the Steelers and the Colts.
Yeah.
And that's a forgettable game. That's a forgettable game. I also put my money on Matt Ryan. So it's forgettable for me.
There you go. Oh, that's rough. That's
rough. Yeah. I've said good things about Josh Allen on this show, but I'm actually going to take him for an interception. It's juicy. It's at minus 150, but I mean, the guy has 11 interceptions so far this season. He's had at least 1 in all but 3 games this year. 4 interceptions in just his last 3. 2 against Detroit. We talk about how good Jonathan Jones is, so he just had a pick last week, right? Ran it back for 55 yards. Like, Josh Allen's throwing an interception. That's what I think.
Yeah, I'm with you. You mentioned Matt Ryan as a punchline, but I think he has as many turnovers as Matt Ryan, at least in the last 6 weeks or so. So, yes, you have to look for that, and you have to think that this thumb is not 100% correct and may not be for the rest of the year. And with Judon as a pass rush force, it's going to be tough for him to go the whole game in the cold confines of Foxborough without throwing a pick.
I would agree. Well, obviously, I took it. Okay, 1 more pick from you.
What else do I want? I think I'll just go under.
Okay.
The Bills have played 6 straight road unders, and that's it. So I think that both teams are going to struggle to get to 20 points. It's not going to be the score fest that we saw last Thursday for either team. I think the Bills went over. It was 28, 25, somewhere in there, 53. And the Patriots obviously went over. I had an adjusted under that I had to cough up a turkey leg because I wasn't even close against the Vikings. But I think the tide turns, like I said, cold weather, 25 degrees. Give me the under in this one by 3 or 4 points.
Yeah, I'm going to lean under on that one too. And I think my third lock will just be Stephon Diggs under the 82.5 receiving yards. Like we said earlier, Josh Allen has a lot of people he can throw to. It's been kind of cutting into Stephon Diggs. And I do think that the secondary is going to be locked down because they do not want Josh Allen to throw 5 passing touchdowns on them again. So Diggs under. All right, Sal, thank you so much for coming on the show today. We really, really appreciate it. Let people know, if they don't already know, which I'm sure that they do, where to find all of your podcasts, and just talk to us a little bit about the network.
Yeah, extrapoints.com. You got there. All your sports gambling needs are taken care of outside of yours, of course. You're doing a great job on your show, but we have Extra Points podcast. We have Against All Odds. We have Making Fun of Sports, Lemon Pepper Parlay, Covered in Glory is going over all the soccer greatness that's happening right now. And Waiver Wire, we have a fantasy podcast as well. So there you go.
There you go. All right, Cousin Sal, thank you so much for your time. This has been Moxie Bets presented by Caesar Sportsbook. Don't forget to follow us on social at Moxie Bets.